Good evening and welcome. This is a public hearing of the Zoning Board of Appeals of the City of Evanston. The zoning ordinance directs this body to hear applications for major variations, special uses, and appeals from decisions of the zoning administrator. Depending on the type of matter, this board will either make either a final determination or send its recommendation to City Council. Please call the roll.
Mirna Aravallo.
Here.
Mary McCauley.
Here.
Lisa Deacon. Violetta Cullen.
Present.
Scott Gingold. Mary Beth Burns.
Here. With 4 members present, we do have a quorum. Also present tonight are our zoning planner, Melissa Klotz. This is a formal meeting and there are rules that govern our proceedings. Most importantly, only one person speaks at a time, so all testimony may be accurately recorded. Anyone who wishes to address the board regarding any matter on the agenda will have the opportunity to do so at the appropriate time. Our procedure is to hear from staff on the documents on file and then receive testimony and other evidence from the applicant or appellant. Next, persons who wish to make a statement regarding the matter may do so at that time. Any persons with a legal interest in property located within 500 feet of the subject property may present evidence, reasonably question witnesses, or seek a continuance of the hearing. When all supporting and opposing testimony and statements have been heard, the applicant or appellant will be given the opportunity for rebuttal or a closing statement. Then the board will close the record and begin deliberations. All testimony will be under oath. Although we do not apply the strict rules of evidence, please limit your testimony or statement to your personal knowledge. When you address the board, please state your name and address and sign in on the provided sheet. Our meetings are video and audio recorded. Please make sure that you are at a microphone when asking questions or making statements so that you can be properly recorded. All proceedings are subject to broadcast at a later date. Any matter not concluded at tonight's hearing will be continued to our next regularly scheduled meeting. There are 2 items on the agenda this evening. 2742 Bernard Place, is the applicant here? And 1822 Ridge Avenue, the applicant is here. Okay, so that we have both applicants, now we can first go through the approval of the meeting minutes. Any comments on the meeting minutes from last meeting?
Yes.
Fantastic.
I approved minutes when I wasn't present.
Ooh, neat trick. Anybody else?
I move that we alter the person who approved the meeting minutes. Otherwise, I thought that they were accurately reflective of the meeting, and I would move that we approve them with that alteration.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those people not voting were not present at that meeting. So now we are moving on to 2742 Bernard Place.
Lawrence H. Gold, architect, applies for major zoning relief to construct a second-story addition. The applicant requests a 2.6-foot north interior side yard setback where 5 feet is required in the R2 single-family residential district, zoning code section 6837A3. The Zoning Board of Appeals is the determining body in this case. Documents included as part of the record include variation application submitted June 14th, 2016, standards form, zoning analysis, plat of survey, site plans, elevations, 3 letters of support, image of property, aerial view of property, zoning map of property, and DAPR meeting minutes of June 29th, 2016.
Would you like to present your case? And if you would please start with your name and your address.
My name is Lawrence Gold. I'm 3100 Lexington Lane in Glenview. I'm here representing Lita Gold, the owner of the property on Bernard Place. We're seeking the 2.6 foot side yard variation. The existing dwelling is a 1.5-story frame single-family residence with a basement. It appears that it was built in 1927, which I assume was way before the existing zoning ordinances were enacted. The proposed renovations include a total rehab. Everything within the confines of the exterior walls will be removed and everything will be replaced with all new heating, all new electric, plumbing, everything obviously up to the recent codes. We have submitted for a building permit. The second floor of the house is an attic. It has 2 bedrooms that are relatively unusable and a bathroom that is actually below the slope of the roof, which I don't know how anybody could have used it. Our intent is to make this house into a livable house up to today's standards by raising the roof up so that we have a full 8-foot ceiling, and the second floor will consist of 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. The house on the exterior will be with new siding, and as I said, everything will be new. The allowable roof height is 35 feet according to the Evanston zoning ordinance, and our height will be 27 foot 8 inches, so we'll be well below the maximum. If we had to maintain that 5-foot setback on the north side of the building, we would incur some great structural difficulties, which would incur some more cost. The easiest thing to do would be to raise that north wall straight up. We are not planning to do any additions to the building. There will be no land changes. All of the flow of water will be as it is existing. And we're obviously keeping the existing footprint. We did submit letters from the north and south property owners that it showed that they had no objection. I'll answer any additional questions that you may have.
Does anybody have any questions?
So you're just doing a second-story addition with the same footprint?
That is correct.
Okay.
Can I ask when the owner bought the property? Is it a recent acquisition?
Yes, the closing was a week ago.
Okay.
I gave the closing papers to Melissa.
Okay. And is the purchaser intending to live in the house, or is this a development opportunity?
It's for her daughter
Okay.
and grandchildren.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think that this is an entirely appropriate upgrade of the house, and it obviously makes sense to go straight up on the foundation walls that are existing.
Yes.
Is there anybody, there doesn't appear to be anybody else here who wants to comment on this particular project, unless you folks would like to. Do you have any closing comments you'd like to make? You don't have to. It's completely up to you.
I think I presented our case and hope that you will find it agreeable.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You can have a seat.
Okay.
Yep, we're going to close the record now and deliberate. Anybody have anything to say? You don't have to. It's okay. Because I will take the silence as the tacit approval that we have always had, which is that you are allowed to build a second story over an existing first floor, because primarily of the structural implications for that and the craziness regarding that. So we will move forward through the standards for variation. There are 7 standards, and I will go through them now. Number 1, the requested variation will not have a substantial adverse impact on the use, enjoyment of, or property values of adjoining properties. This certainly is not the case. In fact, it will increase the property values of adjacent properties by bringing the house into today's standards. Also, it doesn't have any additional impact on the adjacent houses because it's not increasing the footprint of the property, of the house on the property. So that standard has been met. Number 2, the request of variation is in keeping with the intent of the zoning ordinance, which is to provide housing and development opportunities to bring properties up to today's standard. So I believe that that standard has been met. Number 3, the alleged hardship or practical difficulty is peculiar to the property. And this house, being located where it is, 2.6 feet off the lot line, and built long before the owners, the current owners took possession of the property, is the practical hardship and also the structural implications of trying to offset a second floor 2.5 feet from the first floor. So I believe that standard has been met. Number 4, the property owner would suffer a particular hardship or practical difficulty as distinguished from a mere inconvenience if the strict letter of the regulations were to be carried out. Again, this is really a structural issue, and building that second floor wall that supports roof load and potentially floor load 2.5 feet off of the exterior wall is insanity. And so that is a very difficult hardship because it becomes a maintenance nightmare in the future. So I believe that that standard has been met. The purpose of the variation, number 5, the purpose of the variation is not based exclusively upon a desire to extract additional income from the property. The owner has purchased it for her daughter and her grandchildren to live there, so she is not doing this for a development opportunity alone, but to enrich the lives of her family members. So I believe that that standard has been met. Number 6, the alleged difficulty or hardship has not been created by any person having an interest in the property. The house is a 1927 house, so again, built long before current zoning standards, and so that hardship is has not been created by the owner. So I believe that standard has been met. And number 7, the requested variation requires the least deviation from the applicable regulation among the feasible options identified before the Zoning Board of Appeals issues its decision or recommendation to the City Council regarding said variation. They are doing the minimum necessary, which is really the minimum change necessary, which is really just to build on an existing wall, on top of an existing wall. So I believe that that standard has been met. Do I have a motion?
In the matter of ZBA 167MJV00542742 Bernard Place, I recommend that we grant the major zoning relief as long as the construction is done in accordance with this testimony.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Oops.
Aye.
All those against? So we have 4 votes for, so we've approved the variation, and you will coordinate with Melissa for whatever the next step is. Thank you very much. And now we will be moving on to 1822 Ridge Avenue. Oh, Jesus, Mary Joseph. I totally forgot to swear those people in. So I apologize, I forgot to swear everyone in. So you guys are going to get sworn in.
Okay.
You guys are okay.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout the course of these proceedings?
Yes.
Fantastic. Melissa's going to read the case, and then we'll get you to tell us your story.
Sean Smith, lessee, applies for a special use permit for a commercial indoor recreation facility, OmniFit Personal Training, in the O1 Office District, which requires a special use permit for a commercial indoor recreation facility to operate. Zoning Code Section 61523. The Zoning Board of Appeals makes a recommendation to City Council, the determining body for this case. Documents included as part of the record include special use application submitted June 15, 2016, standards form, business plan, plat of survey, interior floor plan, interior site plan of building, image of property, aerial view of property, zoning map of property, and Dapper draft meeting minutes of July 6, 2016.
Thank you. If you'd please tell us about your project.
Do you need to state my name and where I live?
Sure.
Sean Smith, 1822 Ridge Avenue. Same building that the studio's in, actually, 10 feet away. Well, basically, it's a boutique-style one-on-one personal training studio. No loud noises, no large amounts of traffic, only 2 people in the space at a time, since it is one-on-one. Not like a hardcore gym, no yelling, no screaming, no loud music. It's very mellow. Small equipment that doesn't leave a footprint, doesn't cause any damage. And let me see here. And normal hours of operation between like 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. Ample parking in the front, and also I have my own extra parking spaces in the parking garage below the unit. That's all I have right here. Does anybody have any questions?
How many employees?
Just me.
Okay.
Are you ever planning on expanding, or it's just you?
Not currently. I don't foresee that. if I do, I'd come back and have that approved, right? I like being by myself. Ever since I left the training studio where I was bumping into other trainers,
Right.
I've got my own personal space. I don't have to multitask around other people. The rent is low enough to where it's not a problem for me to take care of it all by myself. I kind of prefer it that way.
And how many clients do you currently have?
I have like 23.
Okay. And what's the goal? What's the maximum you're thinking you can handle?
I think 25 is the max. The average trainer has about 10 to 15 clients because people come in 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
I overbook myself because I've been doing it for so long. It's not second nature to me. It's first nature to me. So it's work that's not. It only feels like work when I'm tired at the end of the day. So I have no problem working that much. And
Okay.
and since it's mine, I don't have to gauge for anybody else using the space.
Right. I was surprised when you thought you would have it busy for 8 hours a day. That seemed like a long work day.
Well, with personal training, it's not always 8 hours in a row. It could be 2 hours and then a 2-hour break, 3 hours and a 1-hour break. So I dedicate Monday through Friday to working. And then, when I have breaks, I have snacks, I visit with my kids, that kind of stuff. And then I have all of Saturday and Sunday with my kids.
So you don't use the space on Saturday and on weekends? It's only Monday through Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. And I am having trouble getting a sense for the scale of the space based on your drawing. So about how many square feet is it?
It's 877.
Okay. And you're not dropping things?
No, no. Strict policy against dropping things. I make sure that my clients have proper grips when they're doing stuff and they control their movements. Also, I have protective padding on the floor if somehow something was dropped by accident,
Right.
that it wouldn't make a loud noise and cause any damage.
Okay. And then I believe you said this, but just wanting to confirm, no loud music, no
No,
multi-person spin class with
no,
really loud cueing.
people have tried to get me to do that kind of stuff for a long time, and I can't stand it. I like training people one-on-one, more personal interaction, more ability to watch what they're doing and make it personal. Mold it around their workout rather than trying to find a way that works for 10 completely different people. So,
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions?
You don't live there, do you?
I live in the same building.
Oh, it's in the same building as where you
It's
live?
a commercial building, but there's 3 residential units.
Oh.
Most of it's office space.
And there's only like 3 neighbors that would be there,
I'm one of the neighbors.
and other 2.
And then the other residential neighbor is at least 30 or 40 feet away. There's a neighbor that's right next door that's a yoga studio, and there's a
That's a
radio-
commercial neighbor, not a residential neighbor.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She doesn't live there. She just does her yoga there.
Okay. And who's on the other side of you? What business is on the other side of you?
Radio America, or they're like sales advertising for spots for radio.
Okay.
And I've met everybody there. I've met her. I get along with everybody in the building. In fact, a good portion of them want to train with me.
Okay. All right. That's it. Fantastic. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing?
Really,
Or is there anybody else who'd like to say something? No, you're just there. Okay.
really appreciate you guys hearing me out, and I'm thinking positive from here on.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So this, we're going to close the record and enter deliberations. Feel free to have a seat.
Thank you.
This is a special use. So we are a recommending body to City Council, and I'm going to go through the 9 standards for special uses. The first standard, it is one of the special uses specifically listed in the zoning ordinance. It is. Number 2, it is in keeping with purposes and policies of the adopted comprehensive general plan and the zoning ordinance as amended from time to time. It's certainly within the comprehensive general plan to encourage entrepreneurial activities and new businesses that are starting in the city. And so I believe that standard has been met. Number 3, it will not cause a negative cumulative effect when its effect is considered in conjunction with the cumulative effect of various special uses of all types on the immediate neighborhood and the effect of the proposed type of special use upon the city as a whole. This is a very small footprint for this particular business. There aren't very many people who are coming at the same time, and I also believe that the space being fully leased is a good thing to have that sort of activity on the street. So I think that that standard has been met. Number 4, it does not interfere with or diminish the value of the property in the neighborhood. Again, a busy street front is a valuable street front and increases the value of the neighborhood, the property values in the neighborhood. So I believe that that standard has been met. It can be adequately served by public facilities and services. There are no special needs for dumpsters or traffic or those sorts of things. So this doesn't seem to apply. So by default, it is the standard has been met. Number 6, it does not cause undue traffic congestion. Given the metered effect of the clientele, there certainly won't be additional traffic congestion at the location. So I believe that standard has been met. Number 7, it preserves significant historical and architectural resources, which isn't applicable, so that standard has been met. And number 8, it preserves significant natural and environmental features, which is not applicable, so that standard has been met. And number 9, it complies with all other applicable regulations of the district in which it is located and other applicable ordinances, except to the extent such regulations have been modified through the plan development process or the grant of a variation. So with that, so I believe that standard has been met. With that, we have gone through all the standards for special uses. Is there a motion with hours of operation? With hours of operation. Let's say, what do we think hours of operation are? 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.?
He said
6 to 10?
I think 6 to 9 is probably reasonable.
Okay, 6 to 9, all days of the week. I don't want to, although he doesn't want to work on Saturday, he may hire somebody who wants to work on Saturday.
Okay.
Right.
Sunday through Saturday. Gotcha.
So who's giving me the motion?
Okay. In the matter of ZBA 16ZMJV0055, 1822 Ridge Avenue, I move that we grant the special use
We recommend to City Council.
determining body for this case.
No, the Zoning Board of Appeals makes a recommendation to City Council.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Is the different-
Okay.
Yep.
That we recommend to City Council approval of this special use permit, conditional that the hours are from 6 to 9 all week, Saturday through Sunday, and that everything is developed in accordance with the testimony submitted here.
Do we have to clarify parking? Okay.
You're suggesting a conditional for parking?
No, just that the employees park off-street.
There is no street parking right there, so it may not
Be an issue at
be
all?
an issue.
Okay.
And he has off-street parking.
He does. He's got 3 spots.
Yeah, I've got 3 spots in my parking garage,
Okay.
which is more than enough for me and the client.
He's got plenty.
Okay.
And we only care about you. Okay.
Okay.
So with those friendly amendments, do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Say
Aye.
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 All those against? So with a vote of 4-0, you have a recommendation to City Council. Good luck with your project, and you'll coordinate with Melissa for whatever the next step is. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate that. And now we are moving on to other business, which is the election of a ZBA vice chair.
Okay.
So we moved this from the last meeting because we thought we'd have more people here at this meeting. And it turns out the same, we're all here again. So I think we're going to move forward on this. So does anybody want to volunteer or nominate anyone else?
I volunteer.
Fantastic. Is there a second?
Second.
Awesome. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of Violetta Cullen being the vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
With a vote of 4-0, you are now the vice chair. Thank you very much for stepping
Very
up. I
much.
appreciate that. Is there anything else to talk about?
One quick thing to mention, just a reminder that the CMAP training for boards and committees is on Tuesday, August 23rd at 6 p.m. in room 2404. Most of you responded that you are coming, so we should have a good ZBA turnout. But please try to remember and see if you can make it.
Excellent. Thank you. Anybody want to move to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.